Martin is an independent journalist and host of The Empire Files, a documentary series reporting on war and inequality, and joins us now live from Portland, Oregon. Abby, thanks very much for your time. How optimistic are you that these talks taking place in Egypt will produce a positive result? Because many of the sticking points remain exactly the same as they've been, the red lines that neither side want to budge on.
Exactly. I mean, we know that it was a non-starter to demand that Hamas and other armed factions within Gaza demilitarize without the assurance of national sovereignty or independence. So this is a complete non-starter in the negotiations. This has always been known. Again, as you mentioned in the intro, I mean, there's no actual withdrawal timetable. And so what we're being told and placated by, spokespeople with Western accents to Western audiences, what Israeli politicians like Netanyahu and the finance minister are saying is completely opposite from what we're hearing. You have Netanyahu bragging that they're never going to withdraw. I mean, if you look at the fine details of this, Hamas is taking a gamble. And we're just supposed to think that Israel should act in good faith. A serial killing, pathologically lying state that has reneged on every single ceasefire deal and every single sort of a negotiated settlement. And they are bombing Gaza as we speak.
And what Hamas wants is a guarantee that a ceasefire will lead to a permanent end in the fighting and a permanent Israeli withdrawal. I mean, is that something that Donald Trump can guarantee to them? Is he able to produce enough leverage and lean on Benjamin Netanyahu to a sufficient degree to achieve that?
I think Trump holds all the power. I think that the U.S., Israel's a proxy of the U.S. It's our most useful military garrison in the Middle East. And so Trump could end this with a phone call. There is a wild card aspect of this, which is Trump wants to make money. That's what his ideology is, and that's what speaks most to him. So you have Kushner wanting to personally profit off of these settlements that they do build in Gaza. So I could see Trump having a personal motivation to end the war just so he can get his real estate bonanza going. Like the finance minister said, the demolition phase is done, and now the rebuilding begins for us. So, I think Trump could end this today, but I think Netanyahu wants to disarm Hamas and other armed factions because they want to finish the job. That's the real goal here. That's why it's taken 2 years for all of this to come to a head when it could have happened overnight. We know that Hamas was offering to release all of the hostages within the first month of the war.
You mentioned Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, and he's on his way, we understand, to Egypt alongside Steve Witkoff, Donald Trump's chief negotiator. How key do you see Jared Kushner's role? Because he doesn't have an official position in the White House, and he also has many business contacts in the UAE and with Saudi Arabia. People behind this 20-point peace plan say he's been key in writing it.
Of course. I mean, it's just so cartoonish, the amount of corruption and complicity on behalf of the genocide heirs, that they're actually going to be personally profiting off this. You have Trump's personal family members being involved in this. It's just so on its face corrupt and criminal behavior. But again, I mean, we're talking about the Trump administration that has cryptocurrency scams every week, siphoning funds from the MAGA cult. So, this peace plan, this 20-point peace plan is so full of traps and holes for Palestinians. Again, I just have to kind of invert the framework here and ask the audience, in what reality is it okay to demand concessions from victims of a genocide? And what reality is it okay to demand demilitarization and de-radicalization from the victims of a genocide instead of the entity committing genocide and war crimes on a daily basis? Hundreds of October 7ths have happened in Gaza since this began. And, the offer to have Tony Blair, a war criminal in his own right that oversaw the Iraq occupation, they're asking him to be the governing authority and cement the permanent subjugation of Palestinians in Gaza. So again, the entire framework needs to be flipped on its head. Israel's the perpetrator. Israel's the rogue war criminal state that's bombing and terrorizing its neighbors. It needs to be disarmed and de-radicalized immediately for peace to happen. But we know, again, up is down and black is white when it comes to our reality today.
Yeah, but the 20-point peace plan is what we have at the moment on the table. And Donald Trump has, at the very least, brought these sides together. I mean, we know that there's pressure from Israeli domestic society on Benjamin Netanyahu to try to achieve something to bring hostages home. And Donald Trump keeps speaking so positively about this, regardless of what else comes out of Egypt. Do you think that positivity could add momentum?
Yes, and I think that was Hamas's very clear strategy, is they wanted to bolster Trump's optimism and enthusiasm, and they wanted to give him accolades because they know that praising him and buttering up his ego is the only way that they're going to get anywhere. So they're taking a big gamble. I mean, releasing all of the hostages, dead or alive, without an actual assurance for Israel to reply to release the 1,700 hostages, many of which are women and children, in response. I mean, that's a big gamble, but I think they are so desperate that they are actually willing to give up all of their leverage because they want an end to this savagery, this barbaric war that has been relenting and endless, that has taken the lives of 17,000 young children, helpless children.
Yeah, it's a stark message to end this conversation. Abby, thanks very much indeed for joining us. It's good to talk to you today.
Thanks.